Hi, let's look at our fills assignment real quick. Get a little feedback on that. I was having some technical difficulties with this recording process, but it looks like everything's working just fine. Let me get off this stool because stools limit you to feeling it, getting expressive. Phil's project. This is the one where we let go of the stroke and depended primarily on the fill, not primarily, completely. I breezed through these on my own here recently, and oh my God, there's so many of you that have strokes in there, and I just go, wow, how? And you tell me, how can I get more clear? Because I feel like I'm doing everything I need to do to communicate no fills or no strokes. Like I talk about it in our conversations. I have it written in the descriptions, emails. Like, give me feedback. If you're putting strokes in here, either tell me that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a total goofball. I did not pay attention to the directions. I have strokes in my fills only assignment. Or be like, yeah, I didn't quite realize the 4 times you told me about this that I shouldn't be doing it. Because then I'll try to just figure out how to be more clear. If you can tell, I get a little frustrated just because I'm trying to make sure that you guys get it and do it. Like, and I feel like I'm failing on my end because my job as an instructor here is to like nurture you through in a very positive way. I'm gonna let that go now, and I'm gonna move into the work. So look at this first piece. Wow, it's lovely. It's really incredible. And if I hit Command A, no, I'm not on the right application. Um, I get no strokes, red slash. Boop. There's not a stroke anywhere in this assignment or in this project. It's all fills. And I gotta say, you did a really great job of thinking about layering because this is where an understanding of layering really comes in. Um, and if we look at the layers, things are broken down in a way in which we start off with like the base of this. This is a background and a leaf. I do wonder if this is supposed to be there, that little kick or not, but oh, that's just maybe that just got moved. Maybe that should be like that or something. Who knows? Who really knows? Anyways, but as we bring on these elements that uh, have been thought through in the build, it's really fascinating to see the process of the artist's mind and organization. And we keep going up. We've got it labeled body highlights, dark green shadow, toe shines. Oh my God, there's a layer called toe shines. I don't think in all the years that I've ever taught this, I've ever seen one called toe shines. Shines on the skin, and then shadows. And so there's a lot of thought about the process here. And this being a major project means that this is a time to put that energy and commitment of time into the work. And I see it here and I go, boom, lovely. You nailed it. It's really fantastic. Thank you for that. And then we get fun things like this. And if I hit Command A, where I select everything, I make sure nothing's locked. This is purely a lot of fills that were done with blends and lots of fun layering. So I'm gonna hit no, I'm gonna back off. There's gonna be a lot of extra stuff in here, obviously. Um, but nope, here we go. Turn you on. Why aren't you on? Because you gotta do this. Okay. I'm gonna strip all that down. I'll have to turn my clip on, don't I? I think so. Nope, I gotta turn the group on. There we go. Bang. So we start looking at how this was built, and this was built in a way that there are no strokes being used, even though it looks like it. It's just fills that have been adjusted in their offset, and a lot of stacking. Well, some of these weren't supposed to be there. Now I'm turning it on in a way which was not your original intention. That's okay. But those are empty. Cool. Super abstract, and I love how you kind of thought this process through. I think that one was turned off. Maybe that bottom one was. I don't know. And something that is kind of new and unexpected, very original. You're experimenting with different techniques, and that is greatly appreciated. Okay, so now we're here, and I do select all, and sure enough, there are strokes all over the place. All over the place. So here's what I do. I go strokes. Hey, this was a fills only, so I'm turning them all off. And this is what we end up with. And this was not your intention. If we can understand how to create fills and not rely on strokes, this is only going to move you through in a beneficial way with the rest of your work. So obviously this thing just lost all of its, I was going to say legs, but we'll say branches. And it's interesting, but I would say if we're paring it down to this, and this is a project that demands days and days of work, because that's what our projects ask for, nothing to just be spit out quickly. We're thinking about, what's my investment? How do I make this deeper and give some variation? All your stars are the same color. Think about variation of tone. Think about different opacities. The horizon line takes up almost half of your image and it's just black. What can you do to bring a little more interest or life or variation into that? But also through the process of using fills, okay? This one here, select all, guess what? Bunch of strokes in there. Turn them off, and it's even cooler. This is where I want you to get the aha of like, oh, yeah, that is cool. When I don't have to rely on a line to tell my audience what a line is. Don't give me a line. The difference is that you have this magenta background and a handle or a blade or the slime, whatever, that has contrast other than the magenta. And the line is made just by having that difference in color and a difference in tone. So we don't need the lines. And that is why this fill assignment was such a critical one for you guys to go through. And some of you like not succeed, but now you should be able to understand why and how to move down this path without the reliance on a stroke all the time. Sometimes a stroke is great. Sometimes we don't need them. And it's really good to know and understand that we're trained to draw a line around everything from the second we start preschool. It's these opportunities that help break those sort of habits, right? I would say scale-wise, this thing could just be, I don't know, a little bit bigger in that composition. Okay, we're here. This is a lot like your still life work that you did for the brushes. Nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you're experimenting with it. That says that there are strokes. I'm going to turn it off, and yes, some things changed. So you still did not have complete control over your elements in here. This is something that you guys have to understand. How do I know? What's the control? How do I gain that aspect of control in the work that I'm doing? It's not hard. Hit Command A and it'll tell you, boom, strokes. There's strokes in there. And you go, oh shoot, yeah, there were some that were strokes in there. That was my bad. I'm going to turn them off, and I'm going to go back and maybe make an adjustment or see what that was and how do I work without those elements of strokes. I would say just put a color back in there instead of the white. This is cool. This lemon. It says there are strokes in here, and there are. You can see them go away when I turn them off. So even this piece that looked like you nailed it with a fill, nope, every element pretty much in there still had a stroke. Get to know it. Get to know it. This is your world. You are in control. Don't let it control you. Think about everything that you do every time you click on that screen. Pay attention to the properties, either in the toolbar or in the properties panel. Every move you make, you need to be the one who's running the show, not a program that loves to put things in there by default, right? This is lovely. I love that lemon. Um, this is cute. This is cute. I hit select all. Yes, there's some strokes in there somewhere. Can't tell where. They're well hidden. Somewhere in there, there's some strokes. It doesn't change your piece at all when I turn them off. So that just means that somewhere in there was a mishap or a forgotten object that had a stroke on there. It'd be interesting to find out where that is. You should find out where that is because it'll help you the next time you create something to know. I would say that compositionally, I would make the flower a little bit more to the left, bring the B back down a little bit. It's just really uncomfortably close to exiting our composition. And when a major player is facing off screen and very close to the edge of the canvas, it's an awkward moment. You know what? I'm feeling like that B is facing off screen because its stinger is that way, and I interpret it as a nose. So that would mean that it's obviously coming this way. So maybe you give it, I don't know, some other element that gives us an identification to the front of it, so we feel like it's actually coming in, and that way it won't feel so awkward. Conch shell. Says there's strokes in there. Turn it off. Oh, what a sad day. What a sad day. The only fill in this entire document is the background. And my heart is crushed. All right, here we are again. And still says there's fills or strokes in here. Nothing changes when I turn it off. It's primarily, as far as I can tell, all fills. I do think you need to be working on, that's not, well, there we go. Some control. This is a total mess. It's a total mess. And this should not be a mess at this point. You should have more control over your pen tool or your pencil tool or whatever it is that you're using, so you're not making all these overlaps everywhere, because this is all just a matter of overlaps. I don't even know how or why this would have happened. If I hit delete, away. We're left with another shape here that also has some weird overlaps. But, you know, if this is just a column, why wouldn't you just change these points here to exist and build this up the way that you want it to be? Not that I'm saying this is what you want it to be, but this is closer to something that should. What is that? That's because you should be down here and joining that one, and never have handles that pass each other, because that just creates weird loops. Come here, you. A little bit better. All right, so these are the things I need you to get a little more practice with, especially as we move into the logo work and the more design aspect of things happening. It's a fun piece, lots of energy. It could use a little more variation in the background and the foreground grass, ways to maybe apply some texture, but just go back and revisit all your paths. This is a project. Like I said, you've got days to work on this. There's no reason why you should not be coming in and saying, oh, look at that. The moon doesn't quite meet the cloud, so I'm going to grab, oh, Jesus, I don't even know what that is. Oh no, what is this? This is why, yeah, you got to get in control. Bam. So I just had to move another blue layer for whatever reason. Oh, I don't know. There's a blue layer back there. You put it there for a reason, but it was impeding upon the moon. Oh, I see another thing up here. There's an overlap. You crossed over the path. So this guy has Beziers that are crossing over, and it creates this little loop. Just go in and say, all right, I'm in control. I know what the top of the moon should look like. It doesn't take long. Like now I'm gonna dive into the deep end here. I just want to keep making it better. Um, there we go. So that's why we're in class. We're learning about this stuff, right? Yeah. This is cool. No strokes. And interesting texture, interesting way to put these elements together. Super graphic in nature, and yeah, it looks like you're really kind of rocking your layering going on here. Whoa, that's a lot of layers. Um, Oof. Here's a good thing for you to know. I would I would put all the background stuff on another layer. I would say, um, something like, "Hey, all of you, but not the screen," and maybe the gray. Nope, I didn't get the gray. But then kind of keep going in, select all these, I guess, rocks or whatever you want to call it. No! Ah, crap. You're like, why am I watching you go through? Because it's important, and I'm going to get all of you. And I have to get that background again, and I need you and you. And then I need all of you. You. Oops. Shazbot. You, and you. Now I've got all that stuff selected, and I'm going to make a new layer, and that layer is going to live underneath that one. I'm going to take the selected representational button of everything that's selected on that layer and just drag it down. Boop. Now it's all on its own layer. I can lock it and get out of the way while I work on these other things. I would probably make the computer its own layer, and then the bottle its own layer. So this is good management. This is just stuff. Get used to it. It's really critical and helps you move through this work as an artist. Michelle, your bag. We love the bag. We talked about this in person. And, you know, guess what? No strokes. How fun is that? Um, and I think you really nailed it. And I had a conversation with Michelle about using the blend tool and having shapes that can exist over a stretch of time and be spread out um, in a way in which it's uniform and evenly distributed. I think this is fantastic. Uh, no strokes. It's fun. It's abstract. I would say that, I mean, I could do this in 8 minutes. I'd prefer to see what you can do in a full week. Yeah. Strokes. It still works with them off. Just know that you've got strokes. And now I'm seeing little things that you could go back and tweak and whatnot. You don't need them. Don't need them. Um, no strokes. It's a nice shoot. Remember, if you ever twist your canvas, it's because you use your rotate view tool and you just go back to it, double click on it, and it'll straighten it out. Just so you know. I think your control here is good. I see like things like that little guy sticking out. Like how do you fix that? You just kind of bring it down and hide it. I see some of that happening over here, a little bit of overlap, some exposure here as well. So just getting into the habit of getting in intimately, as close as you can, and saying, what's going on here? Why is that doing that? What if we just move it? Bam, that fixed it, you know? Little things like that. And then this is lovely. It's pretty fun. No strokes. And I think the subject matter is really interesting. I think your composition is great. Your layering is awesome. Um, and, tells a story. Your color palette is pleasant. Nailed it. Oh, man. Woo. No strokes. Man, this is gorgeous. It's really something. Look at that. Look at that. That's all. I assume mostly using the pencil tool. And we're breaking down a layer structure that is quite spectacular. Start off with the branch, and then we get the body. Even that's cool, right? Like you could have stopped there, but you didn't. We went into shadows. You could have stopped there, but you didn't because you went in with the highlights. This is really fantastic. Oh man, gives me the goosebumps. I love it. Then we're back to here. Okay, so that's the breakdown. Think about all this stuff I'm talking about. Get in control. Take the time. Be aware. This is your tool. Like if you're a lumber jack, which I don't know if that's the term anymore. If your job is to work with a chainsaw and you're an arborist and you're cutting down trees, you're going to make sure that you've got control over that chainsaw. You know how to make sure it's oiled right, sharpened, working in the right direction. You're wearing protection. You never go in without making sure that you're in control of that chainsaw. Well, this is your chainsaw. This is it. Know it from the inside and out. And also, every time you go to make a cut, think about: Am I protected? Are things working the right way? And that is, what are my layers like? What's my stroke and fill position like? You got to have that mentality to really rock this world. All right, I hope that was helpful and not really discouraging. I'm not trying to be discouraging. I'm trying to be like, all right, this is the time for you to really go. Like, no more playing around at the beginning of the semester. It's time to jam. Okay, keep up the good work. I'm loving it. Ba da ba ba ba.